All right, it's talk time now. Hundreds of youth staged a peaceful protest on Monday to the office of the Independent National Electoral Commission in Akure, in Ondo State, urging the electoral body to recognize Eyitayo Jegede as the standard bearer of the People's Democratic Party.
Now, this came just as some gunmen allegedly fired gunshots at the campaign office of the factional governorship candidate of the PDP. TVC's Ayodeji Muradeyo has more on the story.
With just a few days to the conduct of the Ondo State governorship election, things appear not to be well in the camp of Eyitayo Jegede, SAN, as some youth continue to protest against his exclusion from the contest. The youth, armed with placards with various inscriptions, marched to the office of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC in Akure, the state capital, to vent their anger. The aggrieved youths, made up of class and present student union leaders, said election will not hold in the state without inclusion of Jegede's name in the list of contestants. Testers who were prevented from getting to the INEC office by security agents urged the electoral body to postpone the election slated for this Saturday.
We are here, we don't have any other work today. All we want to do now is that we are sitting down and we are not ready to eat, we are not ready to do anything today until the federal government heed to this our request, that give us our candidates.
That is the man that has passed through the necessary things before it becomes the flag bearer of PDP. If they refuse to give it to us, there won't be election in Ondo State. The youth of Ondo State stands on it. No retreat, no surrender.
Testers accused the presidency of being the brain behind Jegede's travail.
That what INEC and the federal power are using against this Ondo election, against the decision of the masses, is totally wrong. We have come out to say no. They cannot intimidate us in our state. This is our state. We know what is right.
For docile minds that can be maneuvered anyhow. Ondo State is not a mind for people that is not a grant for short-changing people in the cheapest way, like they have just done. There cannot be election in Ondo State if there is no Jegede on the ballot. And that is God's truth.
A few hours after the protest, some gunmen attacked Jegede's campaign office in Akure. The gunmen were said to have shot several times into the air before disappearing.
We were here peacefully conducting ourselves in a peaceful meeting. We just saw some people in motorcade, Mr. Jimo Ibrahim and his co-travelers. They stopped with the police, paid up police and all that. It I believe that police is unbiased. That police
that they were shooting. This is just unprovoked.
Sorry, where's the bullet?
Unprovoked attack on an affront on the innocent people of Ondo State.
The two incidents are pointed to the fact that there is need to beef up security in the state as the November 26th governorship election approaches.
Well, meanwhile, Eyitayo Jegede says he will contest in the November 26th governorship poll in spite of the pending case at the Supreme Court. Let's listen.
One, and that all the distractions that we're facing are just minor issues. God willing, we'll overcome them. We'll overcome all these issues, overcome all these distractions, and then we'll reach our destined goal by God's grace. And we'll take part in the elections. We have absolute confidence in the judiciary and the rule of law. That is why we are there. I'm a senior member of the bar. And all I've done is to put our grievances before the court.
Okay, he has absolute confidence in the judiciary. Well, with us in the studio is political analyst Daniel Akinlami, and we also have a social commentator, Smart Akpejoye. Good morning, gentlemen. It's good to have you in the studio.
Good to have you. Good morning.
Okay, so, well, let's start this way. Ahmed Makarfi-led PDP is saying that the election should be moved forward based on, the latest judgments of indefinite whatever, that came from the appeal court. What do you make of all, that's going on right now as we hopefully, look forward to the November 26th election in Ondo State? Let me start with you, Akinlami.
Well, I think this is an interesting aspect of party politics that we are seeing evolving in our democracy. You can look at those people on the street in Ondo State protesting, asking for the postponement of the election because their candidate from the McCarthy faction has been denied the ticket due to the court pronouncement a few weeks back. Well, I think we will look at it critically. This also showing us that we still have a long way to go when we're talking about party politics. So much is still wrong at the party level. And this is part of the problem that we've been facing since 1999. That many of these political parties don't really have the machinery for internal democracy within their party. Now come to the protest and their demand for the cancellation of the poll. The Constitution has stated it clearly. The conditions that can warrant the postponement of election. And the two major conditions is if there is security threat and natural disaster. So this does not fall into that category. So a mob action to take law into their hand, to march to the street or to go to the gate of INEC head office in Akure to demand for cancellation is not recognized by the law. So I think at the end, this is going to be a big lesson to the individuals, the leaders in the major political parties. If you fail to resolve your internal crisis on time, you end up being embarrassed like this during the election time. And don't forget that when Governor Mimiko crossed over to PDP in Ondo State, he carried some luggages from Labour Party. And meanwhile, the crisis started far back since then. Because some of the people that he met at PDP still did not concede their position to his own structure. So, and the faction has been on. So this same faction now that produced Jimo Ibrahim has been there all this while. So they were just waiting for the right time to strike. And which they've done successfully now. All right. So this issue permits most of the major political parties, not only PDP. Okay, you can see the same thing happening in APC now. So if these political parties cannot build structure, put machineries in place that primaries can flow freely, the best candidate, the most popular candidate can always win tickets. This is where we're going to be ending every time.
All right, let me bring Smart in here. With all of the drama going on in the political landscape in Ondo State, would you refer to it as embarrassing or maybe as interesting?
Well, it's extremely embarrassing. Okay. It's extremely embarrassing, particularly to Nigerians, to we in Ondo State, and particularly myself, being an Ikale man from Ondo State. I had said it on this program before that, look, politicians have never had the interests of the general masses at heart. What they have is their own personal interests. First, most of we public analysts or commentators were either ignorant of the law or perhaps poor students of history. Jimo Ibrahim is a valid candidate for PDP in Ondo State.
Why do you say so?
And because of this, I will say this. In the first place, some persons complained that the election, the primary election was held outside Ondo State.
In Ibadan.
In Ibadan. Premier Hotel or wherever. There is no law that forbids that. Okay. What the law says is that if you think the primaries you are going to conduct in your state will be marred with anarchy, disturbance, you can move it within the geographical coverage of that your state. Like in the case of Taraba, that produces Taraba. The Taraba state governor was not, the primary did not emerge from Taraba state, it emerged in Abuja.
But does the law define the geographical location?
Of course,
would Ibadan fall within the axis?
Of course, because this is within the same, if they are going to do the election in Abuja, of course, the election is null and void. Okay. But the election took place in Ibadan. Ibadan used to be part of the political zone. Of course. So it's a valid, so Jimo Ibrahim is bon pavard, like they say in French, good to go.
All right, now there's also the issue of a primary election is supposed to be supervised, or at least there's supposed to be a witness from INEC. There was the argument that INEC was at the primary election that produced Jegede and not present where Jimo Ibrahim emerged.
Of course, you see, sometimes INEC decisions are not circumstance. Perhaps they could be led by the existing factor, which was where they were. But going back to the law, you are supposed to have been there. If you were not there, that is your fault. You understand? So Jimo Ibrahim has emerged as the Ondo State flag bearer for PDP, and so be it. The simple fact is that the law is on the side. I'm waiting for a valid judgment that will negate Jimo Ibrahim from being the Ondo State candidate. You see, and sometimes when I felt bad that even the contestant in person is a senior advocate. I don't know whether of the masses or of Nigeria.
Of Nigeria, well.
So if he's a senior advocate of Nigeria, then he should have gone back and see that, look, this man has emerged from a legitimate angle. How do I go against him? What are my points to prove in the court that he's not even supposed to be there? That is what they should be thinking of.
And isn't that the problem here?
So Jimo Ibrahim has emerged. But however,
yes, let me come to you, Akinlami. Is the law further complicating this whole process for us? I mean, so some would even say it looks like the law has failed in this instance.
There's no doubt the situation is very complex. And if you listen to INEC's position, they have to take that stand to obey the court order. Now, notwithstanding which faction INEC supervised during the primary, okay, that court order supersedes every other action. Okay, and they made the position clear that if there is another order that removed that particular order that gives the ticket to Jimo Ibrahim, they will obey. So now the issues are in court. So we're expecting Supreme Court first to make
later today
a verdict if the Court of Appeal has a jurisdiction to first entertain the appeal. So you see, it's a long way. So at the end, PDP is the loser. They won't resolve this before Saturdays. They're not going to resolve it because what Supreme Court is going to do today is not providing solution, is to give judgment on the jurisdiction of the court that wants to hear the appeal. So they have a long way. They hold the losers. Both Jegede and Jimo, even at the end, most of their supporters, party members are confused now. So if they've been able to resolve this few months back and they've got all the court cases exhausted and an individual emerges as the candidate at the end, they would have rallied behind that individual, resolved their issues and have one united front. But as it is now, PDP is the loser. So I think, to be honest, we should focus on APC and AD and let's look at what is going on and the tangibility of the campaign activities they are bringing up because PDP as a party has lost it.
Really?
Okay, smart. Let's comment this way. We'll be going on a break shortly, but when we have just few days before the election, and there are still crises within the political party. Okay, I hear we have to go on a break before we come back to this. Still with us on TVC Breakfast. Let's go on a break and we come back to discuss Ondo elections. Still All right, if you're just joining us, you're watching TVC Breakfast. On the segment, we're discussing Ondo election. There has been controversy a lot from the ruling People's Democratic Party as to who the flag bearer for the election that is supposed to take place in just few days will be, whether Itayo Jegede or Jimo Ibrahim. But as it is right now, INEC is recognizing Jimo Ibrahim, and the other faction have taken their issue to court.
And of course, our guests in the studio, Smart Akpejoye and Dan Akinlami, here too. They're talking with us about this. And well, Smart actually did say that as far as the law is concerned, Jimo Ibrahim is a rightful candidate.
Yeah, the law, when you're looking at the law, it has all sides, because the point there is from day one, there has been the issue of factions in the political party. We know from
At the federal level
and has transcended down in there. But let me come back to the question I wanted to ask earlier on. Governor Mimiko has said that if Jegede is not the standard bearer of the People's Democratic Party, there would not be election on Saturday, which is just a few days from now. What kind of scenario is going to play out?
As to the election holding in Ondo State, it's not at the prerogative of Governor Mimiko. Quickly, I want to probably pay tribute to those that lost their life during the 1983 August 16th election that took place in Ondo State. Persons like Chief Agbayewa, an educationist, Chief Fagbamigbe, a publisher, and the owner of Laco Stores. Laco Stores used to be like the Kingsway of Akure then. All these people were killed. They were burnt in front of their children or their family because of political crisis. If anybody is thinking of doing the same thing now, the person will pay with his own family and not with the family of the innocent citizen of Ondo State. Nobody will call Ondo State out to go and have a redo of what happened in 1983. They will have to pay with their own life. It is not with the life of the innocent citizen. So those that are calling people to demonstrate, those that are calling people to go and fight, to go and do whatever, I am sure the security of Ondo State will take care of that. The security of Nigeria will take care of that. And we, the people of Ondo State, we will say no to Togri. We won't have that again. We won't lose another Chief Fagbamigbe. We won't lose another Chief Agbayewa. We won't lose another Chief Fagbamila. We won't lose that again.
It almost makes you wonder if have the people of Ondo State learned any lesson from what
this you have just... What you are seeing on the scene is not the people of Ondo State.
Okay.
They are stage-managed persons. They are the talks that have been imported into Ondo State to carry out the nefarious activities of the politicians. Look, the election is not between PDP in Ondo State. The election in Ondo State on Saturday is going to be between AD and APC. So, looking at PDP, Jimo Ibrahim, I make it bold to say, is an Ikale like me, like myself, and I've once told him to his face in an hotel in London that Jimo, le win election in Ondo State here.
Why is that? Is he not an individual of the state?
He said, you don't live in. He said, you don't live in Nigeria. He said, you don't live in Nigeria. You don't even live in Nigeria. I said, I'm here on vacation, just the same way you are here on a visit. I said, le win election.
Could you interpret that for people?
You cannot win an election in Ondo State, and I stand it bold to say that Jimo Ibrahim can never win any election, councillorship election, in Ibotako, where he's from.
And why is that?
He's not popular. He's not popular. So I don't want to go into those people that can win the election. So I don't want to go into there. So that whatever I'm saying does not prejudice their chances. The election in Ondo State on Saturday is between Akeredolu and AD and APC.
All right. So
the APC that we have, before election is Alliance for People's Congress. The APC that we have now is Association for Past and Present Criminals.
Oh my.
So,
all right, that's your opinion anyway.
That is my opinion.
Let's bring in Akinlami here. Now, what are the dynamics you think will actually play out in this election? Yes, you've said it's between, you know, the AD and the PDP. Will this,
APC.
And the APC, sorry. Will this election really be across, you know, about parties or the individuals themselves and what the people believe that they will be bringing to the table?
Well, as it is now, it's turning out to be a race between the individuals and the gladiators behind the individuals. Before I go into that, let me quickly emphasize something on this PDP protest. I'm able to say that the PDP protest is not strong enough to warrant the cancellation of Ondo State election. There are about 28 political parties competing in this election, and PDP is just one. Now, those parties that went to Abuja to demand for cancellation yesterday, about 13 or 14 of them, they are just like 13 parties hiding behind one finger. And that one finger, you know who that one finger is. So what they are doing is their internal crisis. So there are about 27 other parties that are listed to contest in this election. So PDP should go and resolve their crisis and not hold the state to ransom. So now if we're coming back to the individuals to focus on now, we have this surprise movement created by Olushola Oke that has gained momentum. And if you look at the reactions of the people in the state, it's my state. And we've been getting feedback from those who are at home. So I believe Olushola Oke has created...
My question is a general question as to, will it be individuals, not necessarily the persons now? If you
That's what I'm driving
If
to.
you understand my
So
point.
what
Will
we
it
have
be,
now
will it be along individual lines or party lines?
Individual.
Okay, that's my question.
And why am I saying so?
Yes.
Simply because when did Olushola Oke join AD? Okay, so his movement has got to this crescendo because of his charisma and his grassroots movement.
His personality.
It's personal. And look at Akeredolu as well. Akeredolu brought his own movement as well to defy some other structures to get the APC ticket. And he has succeeded in even building network beyond the state. So at the end, these two individuals have been able to come out larger than we thought 2-3 months ago. In fact, even 4 months ago, Olushola Oke was not even rated to be among the first 3. Olushola Oke was somewhere in APC struggling for the ticket with Akeredolu, Tunji Abayomi, Segun Abraham, and the rest of them. And he has surprised many people. So I believe they brought their personal charisma on the stage, especially Oke's movement. Oke's movement is not the work of AD. It's his personal charisma, his grassroots movement that he has been carrying from PDP to APC. And don't forget, in 2012, Oke was second after Mimiko. So you can give it to him that he has some level of popularity in Ondo State.
All right, let's take it to Smart. Let me come to you on this. Although Daniel has said that what the call for the postponement of the election from a section of PDP does not warrant the postponement of the election, but one way or the other. In politics, they say 24 hours is a long time.
Makes a lot of difference.
Between now and Saturday, if the whole place becomes ungovernable, is it likely?
There is no way the whole place could become ungovernable if it is not staged, state instigated. And if the state is instigating this, it is unfortunate. In the first place, Mimiko emerged. Mimiko was not a popular candidate. Even right from his days when he was serving with Agago, he was not a popular candidate. But Mimiko has a focus, and this is where we must also learn to be focused on whatever we want to do. Mimiko had a focus that he wants to be the governor of Ondo State. He was focused. He did everything humanly possible to emerge. If he wants to do the same thing now to see that the election does not hold in Ondo State because it will not go his own way, honestly, it will be very, very unfortunate. We must allow, right now, the only person that can come out and tell us now is the State Commissioner for Police and the DSS, based on intelligence reports. What we have on ground now, forget the burning of tires that is happening in Ondo State, forget the demonstration that is happening at INEC offices. This is not a true reflection of the Ondo people. If I'm talking about Ondo, I'm not talking about Ondo town. I'm talking about the Ondo State people. Because you don't have this in Akoko, you don't have this in Ilaje, you don't have this in Ikale, you don't have this in Ijo Apoyi, you don't have this in Arobo Ijo. It is only just some few persons. And these few persons, just please go and pick them randomly. Say, please tell me your surname. If you mention a surname, I will tell you where he is from Ondo State. If you mention Akpejoye or Kpejoye, then everybody know I'm an Ikale man. Akilami, we know he's an Ondo man. Where are you from, sir? No, can you please? Ondo town. Yeah, from Ondo town. So if you mention Adeshemoye, we know he's from Ondo town.
Okay, let's go on the break. We'll come back. We'll certainly come back to this. Stay with us on the discourse this morning.
Well, you're welcome back.
I must say that it's
we
really
just got
interesting.
a new definition of the APC, and we're not going to let you
No,
know
we'll
what
tell you
exactly
that.
it
It's
is.
just for the
Our guest in the studio, Daniel Akinlame and Smart Akpejoye. Gentlemen, thanks for remaining with us. So much, going on behind the scenes as we went on that break, looking at who really is the loser at the end of the day when it comes to this Ondo elections if things don't go, peacefully. And is it this election really about the people, or have we been distracted about, the whims and caprices of the political actors? Is that what's playing out here?
Well, I think impunity and imposition may first be the loser. And in what sense now? The crisis in PDP has to do with, the sitting governor having his anointed candidate, and some other factions disagree. And a similar thing in APC too. You can see the fallout of the primary of the APC that produced Akeredolu. So I think at the end, if the other friend wins the election, these parties need to sit down to really look at what they did wrong, especially in the area of imposition of candidates. So they are all doing their best now. Nobody can call the shot yet. We are not yet to even call the shot as well. So, but I think when they test their popularity, I have seen someone's popularity rising beyond what we thought could be about 2-3 months ago. So, and if he carries that along to Saturday and surprises everybody, so those big gladiators, especially APC and PDP, they need to go back to the drawing board and look at where they get things wrong if it goes the other way. Okay. But if at the end imposition wins and impunity wins, we are suspending the judgment day. We are suspending maybe perhaps the party revolution that should come through this Ondo election now. So, but I believe the people back at home don't want the continuity of this same thing that's been happening for years. So they want to deviate now. They want to start something afresh. So they don't want to be loaded by someone from one quarter here or another quarter there. So my worry at the end is that even the finance of the new options now, they all also have people appointing figure and here and there. So it's not as smooth as it should be as a departure. Okay, so all the options round, it's not as smooth as a departure that is supposed to be. So, but at the end, the first set of losers will be the godfathers and the gladiators that perhaps always stand their ground to impose candidates in all these political parties. Okay, and then also the citizens too, if they do not rise up to defend their vote and make their vote to count, and if eventually someone else that's not going to make the mandate to count get the power, so they are going to be the loser as well. Okay,
now Smart, let me come to you on this. We've heard some of the members of the People's Democratic Party point accusing fingers at the federal level, saying that the crisis within the People's Democratic Party in the state is fueled by the presidency. In fact, federal might. In fact, some persons have even said the presidency. Why
it has always been the case. There was a time they will say, "Oh, what is happening in AC is being caused by the PDP." The PDP has always been the constant party, so to say. They've not changed. Now the APC now became the AC now became the APC or ANPP or whatever by their emergence. As far as I'm concerned, if I have a principle, you won't change my principle overnight. Even at home, my wife knows me for that. If I say this is what I want to do, let her call the whole world though. I'll say this is what I want to do. This is my principle. But then at home, we allow democracy. Deeper, what do you want? Lamide, what do you want? Isaac, what do you want? This one, what do you want? I say, okay, no problem. If you are going to night vigil, I'm going to night boogie. So we have democracy at home. So what I'm trying to say is that if you have a principle, nobody will change it overnight, because your principle will be constant. Your principle will be based on whom you are. So if you are jumping from one place to another, you don't have principle. So if anybody is accusing either the federal might, look, wash it away.
But isn't it a function of democratic culture and how we have grown or matured so far in this thing that we call an experiment?
Sweetheart, we've not matured when it comes to politics in this country.
So how can you even talk about ideology? Because I guess that's what you're talking about. How can you hold on? How can you hold on to those?
Because we are still look, most of our politicians, they are still hungry persons. They are hungry because they want to get power at all costs. For now, what is the most thriving enterprise we have for now is political offices.
Very lucrative.
So, very, very lucrative, highly lucrative. If they are lucrative, so tell me now why somebody will not want to kill his wife, his father, his mother to remain in power. You say, okay, let me kill my father, I will give him a befitting burial because I'm not in power. I will bury my father in a gold casket, pure gold. Look, it is because we don't have what we thought probably we have an ideology. It's not an ideology. It's because we just felt, okay, yes, I'm doing this because of this. If you're that kind of person that is contented with what you have, honestly, and is a failure of the system again, is a failure of the system. We don't have a system, and the political power, the political rulers, not leaders,
are taking advantage of
They are taking advantage of that, and that is why perpetually they don't want to make this country to be developed. We don't have an health system that is functioning. We don't have an educational system that is functioning. We don't have a security system that is functioning. And people are killing themselves. They are burning tires in Ondo State that they don't want an election to take place. It is so sad.
Akinlami, what
let them come up with let somebody come up with, sorry please my brother. Yes. Let somebody come up with, say, look, the rubber plantation we have in Ondo State is enough to galvanize the economy of this country. From Akinfosile, Onikparaga, Elitutun, Odeaye, Igbotako, go to both sides. Now we're not even talking about that, my brother. Well, let's even talk about the glass factory. You know every glass, your house that you are building, that you are going to do aluminium, whatever. The glass you are using there is being imported from somewhere. I don't want to mention the countries. It is so sad. Oluwa glass industry. What happened to it? Okitipa Palm. What happened to it? The clay factory in Ekiti State. What happened to it? We are not addressing issues. Nobody has come out. Not even the Akeredolu. Not even Oke. Not even Jimo Ibrahim can never do it. Because for Jimo Ibrahim to do it, go and ask Jimo Ibrahim what happened to the energy, whatever, to this company, all the companies he has floated. Go and ask him what happened. Go and ask him how he took over Nikon. Go and ask him what is happening to a Nikon now.
Very profound comments there from Akpejoye. As of course, as an Ondo indigene, and of course, as a Nigerian, it should touch, everyone, that we still have not been able to fashion out a way that our politics, our democracy will really be about issues, about how to turn the lives of people, around for the better. Now, with what's happening in Ondo State, is it a pointer? Do we have a template as to what will happen in 2019 as far as, the place of the political parties and the place of the individuals, how it will come to play?
Obviously, it's looking like a template now. And this kind of alignment and realignment that started since the APC primary fallout has shown to us that at the core center of this election is the struggle for 2019. In what way? Consolidation of bases. Both the federal, regional, and the state forces. So individuals want to start to put their structures, to test it, and fine-tune their structures ahead of 2019 poll. And also don't forget that there are cracks in the ruling party now. So we can't go into that today. There are cracks already, and some forces are having issues with other stakeholders that formed the alliance that made the APC. So, but let me just quickly branch before I continue on that line on the issue of the ideology. I think in truth, we don't have ideological politics till today, since the 16 years of this democracy. It's unfortunate. This same Ondo, we have seen people sharing bread, sharing all sorts of things, and even branding this bread with candidates' name and all sorts of things. So where is the issue of what's your manifesto? Where's the issue of what you are going to do when you get to the job? It's not being discussed. So they are taking things to people in the rural communities to share to them as usual.
All right, we don't have all
we
the
need to
time.
get to a point where we can have reforms that political parties, we can have a kind of restriction that you don't leave your party until you have spent 10 years there.
All right, principles. All right, as we coast home now, Smart, let me ask you this. Irrespective of whatever the Supreme Court judgment will be today, we certainly cannot be preemptive on that, but projecting into Saturday, what scenario will likely play on Saturday from everything we have on our hands right now?
You see, the scenario that will take place, I've said it before, we're expecting a winner emerging from either AD or APC. But either of them that emerge, none of them has a template of how they are going to galvanize Ondo State from going hands in hand to beg for federal allocation. None of them has an ideology. They've not come out to say that. And I even still feel bad that we are going to have a rhetorics of what we are saying. We've not had any. And that's why I sit here to feel very, 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 very sad anytime we are discussing Ondo State election. We've not discussed, none of them. Ondo State have no business waiting for federal allocation, just like Lagos State. We have deep sea in Ondo State. We have oil in Ondo State. We have bitumen in Ondo State. We have a glass, the raw materials that make up glasses in glass in Ondo State. We have rubber plantation in Ondo State. We have oil plantation in Ondo State. And today, the benchmark that they use for oil is Malaysia. Malaysia, 45 years ago, came to NIFO in Edo State to study what NIFO is doing. Today, go and see NIFO. NIFO is dead. Oh, I feel so sad.
All right, Smart. Let's round it off here right now. Thank you very much, Smart Akwejoye, for joining us. And